Listen up, children. The guard in front of the dungeon entrance stares at the group of adventurers before him. The beginner adventurers grouped around him vary in size and clothing, though most are in their mid to early teens and sport a single weapon, most often a short sword. The adventurers are mostly human, though on occasion Daniel spots a beastkin and even one dwarf in the group. This is your first time in, so I strongly recommend you stick to the first floor. If you do manage to find the stairway to the second floor, you may go down, but only to access the transportation gem. That'll allow you to travel to the second floor directly when you are ready to take it on. The number one cause of adventurer deaths is overconfidence, so don't think about going down to the second floor until you cleared the entire first floor. Never start a new floor injured. It's the fastest way to get yourself killed. Remember, the guild buys mana stones of all sizes, so make sure to collect every single drop that you get. The blacksmiths have asked me to remind all of you not to bring kobold shanks back. They don't want them or need them. Any questions? Barely waiting for the adventurers' answers, the guard steps aside and waves them into the dungeon. Gripping his mace in hand, Daniel nods his thanks one last time before stepping in, hand slightly clammy on the grip of his mace. On entrance, Daniel is immediately greeted by a simple stone room lit by the sunlight behind and the soft white glow characteristic of the dungeon's mana-imbued walls. Grinning slightly, Daniel shifts his bag once more to ensure it is properly seated before following the sole corridor that leads into the dungeon proper. The exit immediately splits into 3 earthen passageways, and Daniel pauses, listening for the movements of the other adventurers before choosing the middle pathway. As he moves deeper, a mental mini-map of the dungeon begins to form in his mind from the mapping proficiency. Daniel had gained that option as a miner, like most others, and chose to level it up a couple of times rather than other more traditional mining proficiencies, as he knew it'd be more useful for him in the future. You never wanted to be lost in the dark. I wonder what other adventurers do. Spending time thinking about inconsequential things like that is never a good idea in a dungeon, a fact that Daniel finds out to his chagrin when he turns a corner and walks into a kobold. A runt even among its kind, the 3-foot-tall creature looks like a gray, gangly, slightly malnourished child clad in peasant garb, other than its rather elongated ears and 2 wide eyes. Somehow, even after Mary's description, the kobold looks nothing like he had pictured it to be. The kobold reacts first, thrusting his only weapon, a shank made of metal and bone, into Daniel's chest. It hits hard, plunging through cloth and skin and grating against a rib. Daniel jumps backwards, groaning in pain, as he feels blood begin to dribble from the wound, waving his mace to ward off the kobold.